And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of side Delta, we have our red Zerg player, usually Terran, but off racing a Zerg, representing Sidestorm Gaming from the land of the Americas. It is Epic. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the American Terran player, the blue Terran, one of our own, representing the Cranky Ducklings. It is Dolan. Here we go. We have our ZvT again. Epic, was it 2021? It was a couple of years ago. It was relatively recently where Epic did suddenly race switch to Zerg for like a year of play. Like Epic, he committed to his race switch into Zerg. He played for a year, competed, and honestly, he got quite good. He got quite high on the NA ladder and was getting some good results against other American players as well, or NA players. Eventually, Epic went back to Terran, but yeah, his Zerg is nothing to really scoff at either, and because of that, even though I would want to favor Dolan, especially after how we've seen him compete against Starkiller and even Too Tall earlier, do you think that Epic has a chance here to make a series out of this? Even if this is perceived to be his more so off race. But we'll see. We shall see. As Dolan's moving out with his first worker. Back at home, just going for the Rax Expand. This time, no 2-Rax Reaper. We're not going to be embracing that quite yet. And Epic did go for a pull first. Okay. Pull first here from our Zerg player. 6 Lings are on the way. Going to be zooming across the map. And this should be confirmed by the SCV scouts. Oh my god, we're rushing into a Roach. This is going to be a fast series. Calm down. Roach Warren's on the way. Now, the scary thing about what is just happening here is that the SCV is going to be denied. The SCV does confirm the hatchery is late, does confirm the early Lings, but the SCV does not confirm the Roach Warren. Oh, wait. Never mind. No, wait, I swear there was a Roach Warren on the way. We cancelled. Okay. The mind games. The Roach Warren is cancelled despite not being scouted, and okay, we're gonna be calming things down. We will calm down. Dolan getting ready back at home. We have our first Marine. Add-ons on the way. And Epic doesn't really commit with his initial Lings. Does stay back. Meanwhile, the Reaper of Dolan is looking for the Lings, is aware that they're out on the map somewhere, and is on the hunt. Back at home, Epic now expands, takes the natural, and is now taking his third base as well, so working towards the mid-game, working towards a longer game here. So we're just going to be settling into side Delta. Reaper has arrived, dives in, takes a lot of hits, and gets shut down before we break into the main. No scout from Dolan. For all he knows, there could be a Roach Warren, there could be a flood of roaches on the way, and Dolan is in the dark. We can see that there isn't, but Dolan doesn't. Dolan is unaware. Back in the main base, going to be a 1-1-1 follow-up. Very aggressive build here out of Dolan. Big delay on the third CC in favor of what looks to be Banshee play, as we can set up for an add-on swap. And speaking of, the Starport and Rax do swap places, going for Banshee production, and getting into Hellions. Did I say Banshees? Never mind, we go for the add-on swap, but we're going for a Liberator first. Okay. I'm curious if we're bold enough to go for something like a Fusion Core. Lings, they slip in! Oh, Lings, they do slip into the main base. Marine does go down. We get into the mineral line as well, and SCVs are falling! Ooh. We got one SCV, just the one for now. And Dolan does clean this up. Behind this, oh, we're going to be doubling down. Armory's on the way. Thankfully, after Lings got cleaned up, we are doubling down here into Hellbats. Hellbat production is on the horizon here, as the Overlord is coming in for a secondary scout, and there's no anti-air. Remember, the Marines, they went down earlier, so there's nothing to stop the Overlord scouts, and Epic will confirm. Back at home, just happily droning up, investing into our queens. Spores are now on the way. And the Overlord does get behind the mineral line, and the armory is scouted. And that is a sign here for Epic to either throw down a Baneling Nest or a Roach Warren. Just to be safe, just to be secure. As Hellions do rotate around. Queens, they're all pulling together. I mean, true, we could just defend it. We could just defend it. This was purely Queen and Ling. Hellions, they dive into the natural. So far, nice trades against the Lings. Lings, they get annihilated. The Queens are out of position. Yeah, the Queens are a little bit too slow. The mineral line is exposed. Good reaction at Epic. He does pull away, but we just go straight for the main base. We go for the main instead. Workers are lining up. We get 5 drones so far, and we're not done. The barbecue is real. We get 10. Oh my god, 10 drones. We come back too soon. We get 10, 20 workers going down. Oh my god. And who cares about the Hellbats? The Hellions on their own. They eviscerate the economy. 25 worker kills. Liberator not quite getting too much damage done. But the Hellions, they got more than enough. And we're following this up with Thors? Okay. Thor production has begun. I'm not too sure why, as we didn't really scout anything. No extra gases. The lair is not done either, but sure, we're setting up for a Thor drop. Okay, Dolan, playing in style. He shuts down the economy and he follows this up with a Thor production. The Hellions are amassing as well. We have Blue Flame, of course. It's going to be Mech. Did gloss over that. But Mech is on the way for Dolan. And how better than to embrace Mech with Thors and drop play? Why not, Papi? Why not? Speaking of the Thors, they are here. They're moving out across the map. And back at home, what do we have to defend? We have some spine crawlers in position to help defend against Hellions. Queens at the natural. Queen in the main. But really, there's not much on the ground. There's not much to work with. Roachborn is still on the way. We only have Lings. And the Thors, they've made it. Initially going for the Overlord. This will buy time. Overlord goes down. At the same time, Ling Runby does come in, but we have Hellions in position. The Lings, they do nothing. Now we dive into the main. And drones are being targeted. Queen does distract the Thors. So far, we haven't really dealt too much damage with this yet, but we have a lot of potential for damage. As Queens, they zone away the drops. Medevacs are going to be targeted. Yeah, the first medevac does fall, but we do save at least one Thor. The juggling, Papi! Oh my god! We juggle back. We barely will escape. At the same time, the Lings are distracted. Hellions are going straight for the mineral line. Thankfully, there is a spine crawler. But we don't care about the spine. We ignore it. We go straight for the mineral line instead. Drones once again getting roasted. Hellbats, they are morphing in against pure Ling. They're ideal. And Dolan, he's just pulling Epic apart. Epic just one step behind. It all started with the Hellion run by. And it ends with the Thor drop. Behind this, we're just building up tanks. Third base fully up and running. Fourth CC on the way. Liberator is sieged. And do we have any queens left? We have 3 queens. Just 3. That's a kill in the hatchery. Epic in a moment of desperation, going for a massive counterattack. But this, what can we really do here? What can be done? We do get into the mineral line. And we threaded the SCVs. We get 2 SCV kills. That's something. And Dolan is content with his damage. He just backs up. Just races back home. Epic does thankfully have a 3rd and working towards a 4th, but Epic has been busy re-droning, spending so much larva on drones, not on army. And Epic is falling behind. Oh, the lib! Oh, unfortunately doesn't quite connect. Liberator will eventually go down to the Queens, thankfully. He is shut down. Back at home, Epic working towards Ling Roach Ravager. Ling Main Roach Ravager even. It's not a bad composition. The problem here is that Epic needs an economy. He needs time. He needs time to recover, time to stabilize. And this entire time, Dolan has been building up a massive mech army. Tanks, Hellbats, Liberators. All things mech. And when Dolan decides to move out, I don't think he can be stopped. I'll be honest. I want to believe here in a miracle that Epic can maybe force the army to turn back around. Maybe go for a run by, go for a counterattack and delay the push. Maybe catch the tanks on siege. Like, there's a chance that we can maybe force some mistakes and catch Dolan off guard. But it's not going to be easy. The pressure is on Epic. pressure is on. And hey, we can maybe catch out the Hellions. Not bad. 3, 4 Hellions go down. Meanwhile, the tanks do siege. We bow them down. Ooh. Catching a tank. Very nice pickoffs here from Epic. Picking up a handful of units here and there. It all does add up over time. And this is what he needs to just whittle away at the army, picking off 1, 2 tanks whenever he can. Because a head-on fight is not going to go his way. But the army has right to bow down. Ooh, barely not the tank. It survives. Yeah, the files, they don't quite connect. Liberator siege is up. Dolan is maxed out. He's pushing in. The files, honestly, the tanks, they do bunch up. Yeah, the files are going to be insane, but last we just mow our way through the Roach Ravager, they just melt. The Roach Ravager in an instant does crumble. Dolan is just pushing on forward. And now within range of the 4th base. And the 4th base is cut off. Lingbane is rolling in. But Dolan is just rallying across the map. There's no holding back. Not anymore for Dolan. It's going to be a kill in the 4th base. Now we're pushing towards the 3rd. Ling Rumbai is maybe going to get a tank. Yeah, does force friendly fire. We get something. does get a tank. Epic just trying to hold on as best he can. He has double expanded towards the south, has taken more bases, but barely has an economy. Dolan, he's on 99 SCVs. A little bit excessive. Doesn't need that many workers. But it's fine. At this point, he can get away with it. He can get away with anything he wants. And GG gets called as we snowball out of control, and Dolan takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. Dolan does take a lead here in the series. Unfortunately, even though Epic did scout the Hellbat push, even though he saw the armory, he wasn't quite prepared for it. He had queens, yes, but no kind of follow-up tech to work with. He was relying on Lings and Queens. Very risky defense there from Epic. And Dolan was able to bypass the queens, rush into the mineral lines, and he got 25 drone kills over a mineral line worth of workers. And that was almost game then and there, right? That was just an insane amount of damage, and recovering from that position is so difficult. So difficult, especially at this level of play, where that was game-ending damage. Really, we had to rely on Dolan to make mistakes, and Dolan followed it up in style, going for a Thor drop of all things. Very fancy moves out of Dolan, picking up all the queens, and it did snowball into a win. But now we're getting into game 2. We can wipe the slate clean and bounce back and try to force the ace match. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the red Zerg player representing Psystorm Gaming from the land of the Americas. It is Epic. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the blue Terran player representing the Cranky Ducklings, leading the series 1-0, 1 game away from taking the series and advancing on into the playoffs. It is Dolan. And as we settle into game number 2, a big shout out to Bad Pando. Sorry, Panda No even. Thank you so much, Mr. Panda. Thank you, thank you. We do appreciate the support. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs to the community. Gracias, papi, gracias. Quack, quack. Thank you so much. Hope you all enjoy the emotes. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the tournament. And if you want to support the tournament, not just us, not just the Cranky Ducklings, if you want to support Cheeseadelphia, Matcherino. Matcherino in the chats. Hold on, I got you covered. There is a Matcherino for this tournament. If you want to help support the NA scene and the NA region, then Matcherino is the place to be. I believe it's to help boost the prize pool and help support the players, so do check out that Matcherino link. Otherwise, thank you so much for the support. Thank you. Do appreciate it. As we are settling in. Bad Pantano is great. Oh god. Wait, is that bad panda? No? Is it? It sounds like you're scolding the panda. Like, bad panda. No. Oh my god. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Panda. No, thank you. For now, we are settling in. It is going to be a Rax Expand standard opener here out of Dolan, going for the Rax into CC. Meanwhile, back at home, this time, we do see Epic going for a standard hatch gas pool. As a reminder, on side Delta, Epic did go pool first. This time, we avoid the pool first. We're opening up in a much more normal manner. Oh, NO is for New Orleans. Oh, okay. I see. Papa Panda versus Bad Panda. No. Aye. Okay. Panda New Orleans. I see. I understand. So we're not scolding. Okay, we're not. The panda didn't do anything wrong, is what I'm hearing. I mean, may have done something wrong, but we don't. I understand. As for now, we are going to be settling in. Behind this, Dolan going for a third CC before Starport's a very economic follow-up here from Dolan. Much more standard play here from both players. We're embracing Oceanborn. As a general rule, pandas don't do anything. True. I mean, they eat, right? They eat a lot of bamboo. That they do. But now though, Epic taking his third base, droning up. Meanwhile, I spoke about how standard this game was looking, and it was looking standard until now. Do you see what I see? Fusion Core. It's going to be 3cc into a Fusion Core here. Dolan looking to embrace the BCs, and when we see BCs, it's most likely going to be mech. It's going to be mech once again out of Dolan. We have Hellions initially here for map control, followed by would-be BC play. Thankfully, there is no second starport. Meanwhile, Epic does throw down the Roach Warren. Okay, so it's going to be Roach play from our Zerg player, and I imagine mech play out of Dolan. For the time being, Epic is in the dark. Hasn't seen too much. I did get eyes on the tech lab though. Never mind. We saw the tech lab on the starport. This tells us that it's at least going to be Banshees, so we should soon be seeing some Spore Crawlers. Speaking of, there we go. Spore Crawler at the third base. We have a Spore, not quite in the natural, but in the main. So Spores are being sprinkled throughout the bases. Getting ready for at least Banshee play. And that is Stim. My apologies. I thought it was going to be mech, but no, it's BC into Bio. It is going to be Bio play. Meanwhile, the Scout does confirm at least the second Rax in production. Overlord is coming in. And we'll get eyes on everything in the main base. Marines are going to be rotating over, but very few Marines to work with. And the Overlord may even scout the Fusion Core. Yeah, the Fusion Core is spotted. Epic does see everything. And back at home, we need extra queens. we need queens, we need more spores. One in each base is going to be good enough. And we have additional queens in production. So Epic is getting ready. Hellions are moving out. We have roaches to help deal with them. So far, so good for the Zerg player. So far, so good. As Hellions have yet to dive in. At the same time, BC does teleport across the map. But the Queens are in position, and we get 3 drone kills, 4 drones, and not much more. As the BC is going to be stuck at the same time, Link counterattack. Ooh, does get quite an amount of counter damage. 5 SCVs, 6 SCVs even. And Dolan, he's in trouble. The Hellions get shut down across the map. The Roaches were in position. They were ready. And the Lynx are wreaking havoc in the main base. Marines are going down, SCVs as well, and we're still not done. Getting another SCV. And Dolan just not ready for the counterattack whatsoever. This is game-ending damage. We're still not done. 15 workers, 16. An entire mineral line worth of workers go down. 16 SCVs and a depot. The Hellions, they did nothing, and now we're vulnerable to a counterattack. Now is the time for everything to move out. there's nothing to defend. We have like a handful of Marines, that's it. If Epic were to move out with these roaches, Dolan would have nothing to hold on. Thankfully, Epic is pulling back. He's droning up. Epic taking a slower approach here, but Epic, he has a massive lead. If the opener did nothing, the BC did not do enough. And Dolan has some catching up to do. As the Lings, they come back. Not again. They come back, they get a kill on the depot. Dolan trying to stabilize, massing up more Marines, tanks. And there's a lot of pressure on this double drop. Now, we have seen Dolan pop off against Starkiller, against Too Tall as well. We saw Dolan get a lot done with his drop play. But to be honest, Epic has a much more mobile army and he can keep up. He can and he will keep up with the drops. Epic not losing any drones outside of the few that he lost against the BC. And Epic, he's stabilizing on a 4-base economy, 74 workers, looking solid. And Epic will soon max out on Lingbane Roach Ravager. And Dolan is stuck at home. Like, sure, we have some drop play, and ideally we need to get some worker damage done. We need to get into a mineral line, catch queens, trade as efficiently as possible. And so far, we do well for ourselves. We do okay, but Epic, he will soon pull the trigger, and there just is barely anything at home to defend. We have 2 tanks, no bunkers, barely any SimCity. Epic just waiting to max out. Then it's going to be all or nothing. Waiting for upgrades as well. 1-1 is on the way. We have our infestation bit. That's going to be for Hive Tech. 5th base as well. And it's going to be a miracle here if Dolan can somehow survive this push. It does focus on some Banelings. Not bad. Nice control out of Dolan. Is forced to back off. Hive is on the way. Epic, unfortunately, is lacking anti-air, so this drop play is actually keeping Epic pinned back. So Dolan is buying time. It's buying quite a lot of time as we unload. But the Banelings, they get some decent connections. Marines are going down. And Epic should be pushing. Again, we're maxed out. We're up 70 supply. Now with the Hive should come Vipers, and that'll be a way to deal with these drops. Dolan's still being such a nuisance here. And Dolan, he's catching up. Slowly but surely, he is catching up there. In terms of that army. But here we go, Epic, he's had enough waiting. He's had enough time here. He's had enough of the Terran. And we're rolling into the splits. Ooh, we do react, but a little bit too late. Banelings, they are crashing into the mineral line. 15 SCVs go down. Ravagers are exposed. Dolan not trading too poorly here against the army, but he lost the entire mineral line. That's 19 SCVs falling. And Epic, all he has to do is back off, remax, and do that again. Just keep on knocking down the 3rd base time and time again. And eventually Dolan will run out of steam. Now, currently his army is quite comparable to Epic. He has a pretty decent army to work with. Epic is setting up a surround. And Dolan's pretty all in. At this point, yeah, Ling run by catches reinforcements. 2 tanks going to be going down. It's all or nothing for Dolan. He turns back around. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Dolan is racing back home. More workers going to be falling at the natural at the 3rd base. Marines have made it. We will clean this up. But again, what are we really saving at this point? What is really left at home anyway? That's going to be 29 SCV kills. I'm afraid to look at the kill counts. How many workers are full in this game? 65! Almost as many workers as Epic has right now, and Now Dolan has to move out, still all in. Epic is remaxed, Ultras are on the way. Now, thankfully for Dolan, we're still spending supply to harass across the map. But Banelings do turn around. Banelings not going to get the best connections. They do get shut down. Not a bad start here for Dolan. Is pushing forward, is pre-spread. Epic getting ready to collapse in. And there's quite a lot of Ling Bane waiting for Dolan here on top of the ramp. We have Ling Bane, we have Ultras, Kindness Plating's on the way. And we're just waiting for Epic to pull the trigger, and here we go, he collapses in. Queens do pin back some of the Ling Bane, but we just overwhelm the Terran army. There's just not enough Terran, not enough fire. GG gets called, and Epic ties up the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. GG. Epic does tie us up. Again, it was just a really brutal moment for Dolan. It was just a bit of a snowball effect, or the dominoes started falling when Dolan moved out with his BC, and when he moved out with his Hellions, he had nothing at home to defend. So as he was harassing with the BC and Hellions, he was being eviscerated back at home. There was just workers going down left and right, nothing to hold on, and the Hellion BC really fell on its face as well, just barely dealt any damage. And from that moment, Epic was in the driver's seat. He had a lead, he stuck with it, did maintain it, and GG. We're going all the way to Game 3, the ace match. Oh boy, again, so far both players have been undefeated in this tournament, but now we're going to be settling into that ace match, and how will this story end? Epic, he's still committed to Zerg, still not switching to Terran. I appreciate the commitment. Epic did just message me. He said, I'm glad I at least won one game, but nah, he's too humble, Poppy, too humble. Could still take the series. Let's go. We're loading in to Alkyone. Triple Evo chamber. I did notice that. Was Triple Evo. And here we go. I mean, they've both been defeated. True. I should say, they haven't dropped a series yet. They've dropped maps. Haven't dropped a series yet, what I should say. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have our American Zerg player. The red Zerg representing Psystorm Gaming, usually Terran, but now facing a Zerg. It is Epic. Tying up the series in that last game, looking to claim the entire best of 3, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, being forced into the ace match. Can he bounce back? Representing the Cranky Ducklings, it is Dolan. Opening up to Racked Reaper. The gloves are off, the aggression is on. Dolan opening up with a second Rax into Reaper production, a very aggressive build here from our Terran player. Meanwhile, Epic going for a hatch first. Going to be hatch gas pull here out of Epic. And we'll see how much damage Dolan can get done. As a reminder, winding it back here, Dolan is going to be active with 2 to 3 Reapers. Only a handful of Reapers here to be active and to harass across the map. And this will lead into a follow-up 4-Rax push. 4-Rax with a stim timing. At least that's how Dolan has been playing this out typically here in today's tournament. In the group stage. Epic for now just opening up in a standard fashion, droning up, taking our gases, getting into our spawning pool. The Overlord will not scout. It's going to be a delayed scout here for Epic. I don't know if you noticed, but we actually prioritized scouting for a proxy. We moved out towards the third base on the right hand side and the linear third base as well, so this will mean that the scout across the map will be much later than normal, and Epic won't have as much of a heads up as to what's going on. So a risky move here out of Epic. Just ensuring that there is no proxy. Meanwhile, Dolan is on the hunt. He's looking for the Overlord. And Dolan will find it. And the Overlord is caught out. And we're a ways away from the pillar. The pillar is all the way here on the right-hand side. And this first Marine is soon to be joined by a second Marine as well. Yeah, we collapse in. The Overlord will not make it and will be shut down. Nice pick up here from Dolan. and that will supply block Epic. Meanwhile, Epic is going for the third, but the Marines are on the way. Marines are on the way. Something that I should reiterate as well is I assumed this was going to be 2-Racks Reaper. My apologies, it's 2-Racks into Marine production early on. Interesting follow-up here from Dolan. So no Reapers initially. The downside is that this means that the third base isn't denied. It means that, I mean, initially it isn't, but these Marines, they could pull it off. Going for the Overlord. Stutter stepping forward. Oh, second Overlord goes down. Another supply block. That is brutal here for Epic. Now we're going for the hatchery. Queen has arrived. We'll fend off the Marines. And we have a Roach Warren follow-up. Okay, Epic gonna turn this defense into an offense. Second gas on the way. Roach is gonna be amassing. Meanwhile, Dolan is building up towards that 4-Racks. We spoke about it earlier. Big Stim timing on the way for Dolan. Stim is on the way. 4-Racks' Mass Marine is gonna hit like a truck. At the same time, Epic, we're not droning. Epic, he's cutting workers at 21, and nothing but Lings and Roaches on the way. Epic is going for his own all-in. And who do I favor? Now, if Dolan had opened up Reaper, he would have scouted this. That's the upside of going Reapers. We would have seen the Lings, would have seen the early Roach Warren, would have scouted the lack of drones. Dolan's in the dark. And that means no bunkers. No bunkers for Dolan. Dolan, he doesn't know how aggressive his opponent's being right now, and we are vulnerable. We have a wall, but the wall is going to be broken by the Ravagers. The Zerg is on the way. Dolan is in the dark, has no idea what's coming. Stim not quite done. And can Epic pull this off? As the army is revealed, the boys are being pulled. There they have to be. The Wiles won't quite connect. Once again, though, we do connect with the army. Nice pile there from Epic. Gonna be delaying the army. Stim gonna finish up in 1 second, and it will finish. Yeah, Stim is now done. The boy is being pulled back. They do go back to mining. And the Tac Lab may fall, but alas, the upgrades have completed, and Dolan, he can fight this. He can engage. As more Marines and Marauders are on the way. Tac Lab does fall. Dolan's in with the army, and we're collapsing in. Yeah, there's not enough buffer. It looks like the Marines, they snowball out of control. We clean up the Lings, we clean up the Ravagers, and Dolan, he will shut this down. And GG gets called. There's nothing left. Epic was completely all in, and Dolan will take the series 2-1, coming out in first place in the group stage. GG. GG, well played. Dolan will take the series 2-1. We'll take down Epic, and again, Epic and Dolan are looking to be the top players in this tournament. Dolan will take it here in the group stage, but this was Epic playing Zerg. I should reiterate. I should put some emphasis on this. Epic's main race is Terran, and I'm sure we'll be seeing some TvT action later on in the tournament. Regardless, GG, well played. Dolan will take the series, and let's head on over to the bracket to figure out what exactly has been going on. Let's go.